I didn't have to tell anyone where I was.
My journey of like learning English.
I mean, you can have a boyfriend, but he's not sleeping here. Yeah, like that's wrong.
Hey guys, welcome back to Wine Hour, and we are back with our sixth episode. Yeah, insane. Okay, we're on a roll. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
How are you? How are you guys doing?
We're doing great.
We're doing great. I chugged my coffee. She's still on hers.
Still sipping.
And it was like my second coffee of the day.
That's crazy. You usually don't have that many.
I know. And I made sure to have it at like 1 o'clock because like actually today my daughter woke up at 6 a.m. Progress.
That's good.
Instead of 5:40
Keeps getting later.
a.m. I know.
20 minutes is something.
It's something.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's something. And she woke up very, very happy. So
that's good.
I was happy.
We love that.
Yes. So 2 coffee kind of day, but we are back today with another episode, and we ordered our other mics. I feel like every episode we're like,
I know we're having just technical issues,
yes, but we're still here. We're still showing up and making it work with whatever we have.
We're trying.
And for today's episode, we're just gonna wing it because
yeah, honestly, maybe I think that it would be great if people would comment things that we should talk about.
Yeah, maybe if we have viewers.
Yeah, I mean, we do. Don't listen to her.
Yeah, I feel like we want to know what you guys want to hear.
Yeah.
You know, we have a few ideas, like for sure, but ultimately we need to like figure out what it is that you guys
Maybe we should try bringing a guest sooner than we thought. Because then I feel like we could do an interview style and
which
just
is best,
ask questions, and then we can like, I mean, we're not gonna have everything planned that we're gonna say, but we can kind of just, as we're talking with the person, things will come up and we'll just talk about random things.
I think it'll be just more informative. Yeah. And I think that's what I'm struggling with is I want it to be informative, but I also want it to be like fun and super like light.
Yeah. And just girl talk.
Just girl talk, yeah. But we wanted to touch on a couple of things today, and one of them being is something we both have in common, and that is growing up with foreign parents. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm from Russia and
I'm from Greece.
Yeah, and
I came here when I was 5 though, and I think we talked about this a little bit.
Yes, in our first episode we like kind of went over our story, but she was 5, I was 12, so quite the difference. However, that still doesn't change the fact that our parents grew up in a whole different country.
Yeah.
And that affected our childhood a ton.
Yeah, because aside from like just because we live in America, my parents are very, very, very foreign.
Yeah,
still.
they really are, and they speak English though. My parents don't speak English.
Yeah,
and it's been.
I mean, they have accents. Don't get me wrong.
No, they do.
Yeah, like very thick accents, and we've been here for 25 years. So, yeah.
My parents. Well, let's
your
see.
Your mom speaks English. Like she understands.
She understands and she speaks like a little bit, but not to like a point where she can like hold.
If you're like talking to her too fast, she probably
conversation.
Will
Yeah,
not.
So I'm curious. Like, tell me, do you remember moving to the U.S. at being 5?
No, I remember nothing, which is insane. And everybody asks me, "Do you remember when I first left Greece?" They're like, "Do you remember anything from Greece when you were 5, like growing up?" And I really don't.
What is the age that you like start remembering things?
I don't know. I mean, I do remember most of my childhood here, where I went to middle school, where I went to high school. Obviously, that was whatever. But I feel like I remember most things here. But in Greece, I think I have a memory of things. But then when I go and see those things in real life,
like,
it's the opposite of what I thought.
So I'm curious, like, when does our brain start like registering and remembering things? I should probably look that up because I'm curious when my daughter is gonna have that like remember brain like thing.
I'm curious too.
What is like, do you have like what is your like earliest childhood memory that you can think of? Super early, like feel like mine is not until first like grade or something.
I think mine is like when I was maybe 6. So like when I first moved to America and I came here and I would go to my aunt's house all the time where she lived back then. Like I still vividly remember what her house looked like. I know where it was and everything. So
you were 6.
Yeah, but I don't remember anything before that.
That's insane.
Like I remember nothing from Greece, but maybe it's because I was so little and switching countries just kind of maybe erase things from my head. Like maybe if I stayed in Greece and grew up there, I would have remembered everything. Yeah.
For me, I think I was also like 6, and I just remember like school. I remember going to first grade. I remember like buying flowers with my mom, like for my teacher and stuff like
my
that.
mom, I used to do that too.
Yeah.
My mom used to always make me get like a bouquet of flowers and go to school. I'm like,
I think it's like a foreign thing.
yeah.
Well,
and no other kid would do it. Now that I think about it, it's so embarrassing.
That's not embarrassing. That's so nice. And so in Russia, it's like a big, big, big thing. It's like a huge, almost like holiday. September 1st, that's when everybody goes to school. That's when school officially starts for like everyone. And in the US, that was like one of the culture shocks that I was like, wait, what? In the US?
Like different schools start different times.
Different times. Yeah. You start in August, you start in September, random dates in September. I'm like, wait, what? And like in Russia, you literally go September 1st, like everyone. You buy flowers for like your teacher, you dress up like really, really nice. And the school has like this whole big event, and people like sing, and it's like this whole thing.
Yeah, but I do remember my mom always used to put me in dresses, always like long dresses. I would always go to school like that, and then I would always walk in with a bouquet of flowers. And now that I think about it, I don't think any other kid was doing that.
That's really cute. Do you have pictures?
I do, actually. I do.
Okay, we'll include them in our YouTube video, what you looked like. So if you're listening, then go to our YouTube and we'll include some pictures. Maybe I'll find some of myself when I was like in first grade, because I definitely have those photos. And another thing is that in Russia, you don't get like lunch like you do here.
Oh, you don't have lunchtime?
We do, but like, it's like very different. Like, I don't know how to say it. Like, it's not like, oh, official lunchtime, you go and you get in line. Well, I guess like you do go and get in line, but it's like,
I'm sure it's different. I just I don't think a lot of countries are the same. Do the same things that that they do in America.
It's like home cooked meals and like
how nice,
like little like meat patties.
Let's talk about school lunch in America. Wait, what grade were you in when you?
7.
So you did have school lunch.
Yes, I had school lunch. And I so stressed out when I first came to school in 7th grade because I was like, where am I gonna sit? Where do I go? Like I didn't know what these things were, like the chicken nuggets, the fries. Okay, I've seen them, I've tried them before in Russia, but I don't know, like the chocolate. It was just like it's so different. But everybody, when I moved to the US, I didn't speak a single word of English, and everybody was like so nice to me and like so friendly. Yeah. And I think I told you this, but my first day in 7th grade when I moved from Russia, I showed up like in Russia at the time. It was really like trendy and like cool to wear like, low-rise jeans.
Oh, you did tell me this, yeah.
And like shirts, your belly would have to be showing below your belly button. So I wore low-rise jeans and a shirt where you could like see my belly a little bit.
Funny, because that's so in style now.
Yeah, and I was like super skinny. So I remember I showed up. I remember the shirt I wore was.
Did you get in trouble?
No.
Because we weren't allowed to wear anything that shows belly, and now the things that I see girls wearing to school, I am shocked.
Really? I have no idea what
we were never able to wear crop tops, anything that shows even a little bit your midriff.
Yeah, you can't.
You would get in trouble. Yeah. Your skirts or dresses had to be like, you had to put your arms down like this. And now I feel like girls wear booty shorts to school and don't get in trouble.
I've never seen.
My brother wears hats, used to wear hats to like high school. Yeah. And we weren't allowed to wear hats. We would get yelled at.
Yeah.
It's crazy how things change.
And I think that's like not a respect thing, but yeah, like you have to take off your hat like as soon as you walk into a building.
Yeah, but now my brother would go to school with a hat, even like a beanie, like for the cold, and we would get in trouble for wearing that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But I remember for me, people looked at me weird because they were like, what the heck are you wearing? And the girls were wearing, I told you, like back in the day, in style, it was like the long tank tops, and then you like layer the tank tops, and then you wear like a zip up hoodie.
Yeah.
And
you were like, what the hell?
I know. I was like, what are these girls wearing? And the ugly like Uggs. I was like,
but you low-key wanted it.
I know.
Because everybody was wearing it.
Because I wanted to fit in. It wasn't even that I liked them. I didn't like them. I just wanted to be like everybody else. Yeah. And and I was wearing like just a t-shirt, and then they were all like wearing the tank tops, and I was like, oh my God, what the heck? I came home, I was like, Mom, like
we need to go shopping.
I know, I was like, I need like tank tops. I think I need different colored tank tops so I could like layer, but I need like long ones.
And it was like Abercrombie and Hollister.
Yes, but I had no idea what those stores were.
Yeah.
So guess where my mom and I went?
Where?
Walmart.
Oh yeah, you told me this.
Yeah. We went to Walmart, and I was like, no, like this doesn't look like what they were wearing. And and we couldn't afford freaking Abercrombie and Hollister at the time. So I bought whatever I could at Walmart, and then I found these like shoes that kind of looked like Uggs, but they weren't really Uggs, and they were like had like orange fur, and I would just try to roll them, but they wouldn't roll right because it wasn't Uggs.
You're like, I tried.
And I was like, am I like cool yet? Like
somebody like me.
I know. Like, oh my God, it's so funny. And if I find pictures of myself, because I definitely have photos of myself wearing all of those clothes, like I'll include them. But it was so funny how I was like trying like so hard to fit in, and it's like so sad because like being 29 now and looking back, if I had my mind now, I literally would just like wear what I wanted.
Yeah.
And like wear whatever I liked and whatever I thought was like comfortable or cute instead of trying to wear what everybody else was wearing.
Yeah. No, and I would be so scared to move at that age to a whole new country. Like my parents, when I was younger, wanted to buy a house, and I think I was in high school, and I told my parents, "You're not buying a house in another city because I am not moving schools and going to." And my parents listened to me because they bought a house in the same city, and so I stayed at the school that I was going to.
Oh my God.
Before they got the house that they're in now, like we lived in an apartment. So they started looking then, and I'm like, "You guys are not moving to a new city. There's no way you're making me go to a new school." And so they found a house in the same city, thankfully. I was even scared to do that. So I can't even imagine moving to a whole new country.
That's so funny.
I would be scared.
My parents were really like sleek about it. Like they wouldn't talk about like, oh my God, like we're gonna move to like another like country. They weren't even like mentally preparing us like at all.
They're just like, let's go, we're going on a trip.
One, because we actually waited 10 years for us to be like accepted to move to the US. So when we finally got like the okay,
that's a
like
long time.
Yeah, like you were accepted. My parents just told my brother and I one day like, hey, like we're moving to America. So it was the coolest thing because I didn't like have to go to school because it's not like I'm like transferring my grades or whatever, you know. So when it came to like going to school, I could go. I didn't have to go. I could go to one class, not go to the other class. So I would like show up as I pleased, and I would just like I would just like hang out with my friends, and then like go and then like leave. They'd be going to class. I'd be like bye. Yeah. It was like really interesting, and then we had like a pizzeria open next to like this is like what like 20, oh my God, 2009, 8, I don't even know. And you know, pizzeria was like so cool at the time. Like in America, we have pizzas like pizzerias everywhere, but in Russia it was like not a thing. Pizza was like the coolest thing ever. Like my mom would try to make pizza at home and it would be like kielbasa and like ketchup on bread. Like
Yum.
Yeah, like we didn't know, you know, we didn't know what it was. So when that pizzeria opened, it was like the coolest new thing on the block. So my mom gave me money and I could take like all my friends there as like a goodbye like dinner when I was like 11. Like
Aww.
I had a boyfriend at the time too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, were you allowed to date when you were younger?
Yeah, like my parents didn't really care. When I was younger, like even at that age, like listen, it's kind of scary thinking back now, but I had all the boys' attention. Like I was the girl in class where like that everybody wanted.
Oh my God, I had a totally different childhood.
Really? Yeah, and this is like crazy because literally we're talking, I was like 10.
Yeah.
Like so like first, second, third, fifth grade, I was like, yeah.
My parents didn't let me have a boyfriend.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not like I was like, oh, mom and dad, I have a boyfriend.
And
it wasn't like
that. Yeah, but it wasn't like a said thing. It's just that I know for a fact that I wouldn't be able to bring a boy to the house. Like the things.
How old are we talking though?
Like even through, I would say through middle school. I don't know about high school. I had not a boyfriend. Like I talked to a couple of guys and like they would come over, but my parents wouldn't be home. Hopefully my mom doesn't watch this. But my parents, like they would come over when my parents were at work. I was alone a lot of the time because my parents were working all day.
Yeah.
So I had that, but I never had like a super serious boyfriend where I would go and tell my parents. But all through middle school, all my friends had boyfriends. They would switch their boyfriends every month.
Oh my God.
Like they would have sleepovers with their boyfriends. And I'm like, oh my God, that would be so awesome if my parents let me do that. No, I did not have. My first serious boyfriend was in my 20s.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That's kind of insane to me.
I know.
But like, no, I'm talking about the age of like 13, like, no, I'm sorry, not 13.
Dude, how did you even think about boys then? Because I wasn't even concerned.
No, I don't know. Like, it was literally crazy. Like, I don't know. Like, my grade was like weird. We literally like, we had like school dances.
Well,
like,
you were also the new girl, the foreign girl.
No, in Russia.
Oh, in Russia. I thought you were talking about here. Because I was going to say like, you came to a new country, you look different than the people here. So I'm assuming they would be all over you.
No, in Russia, it was in Russia that like it was like that, and like I was like really cool and like popular. I was
and then you moved to America.
Yeah, and then I moved to America, and then I became even cooler. I had like rumors spread about me after I moved. Someone was like, I saw her in Novosibirsk. They like saw me in another city in Russia. She didn't actually move to America. And it was like, I don't know, it was like so crazy. But when I moved to
so basically Nina was famous in Russia and then she moved here.
Yeah.
You sound like a famous person and they're like spreading rumors about you, like she didn't actually move.
Well, I had this girl like that, like we were kind of friends, but like she was just kind of
secretly hated
like
you.
Yeah, I think so. And she was very
like envious of you.
Envious maybe. Yeah, she would always like, if I had like new shoes, like my mom would always buy me like really cool things. She'd be like, oh, can I wear those? So like she'll take them off my feet and we would like switch shoes. Like if we're like going somewhere, she'd be like, oh, can I have those? Or like, I don't know, just like she was just weird like that. It was a weird relationship. She follows me on Instagram now. Still, like we're still. See this. Hi. I know, not that they speak English, but it's whatever. But no, when I moved to America, it wasn't like that. I didn't speak a single word of English. So
wow.
I was in an ESL class with a bunch of foreign students. There was a girl from Brazil, a boy from Korea, a boy from Zimbabwe, another girl from Morocco, and we were all just like learning English together.
It's crazy how good your English is. It's crazy how us coming at such a young age, well, you and then my cousin Maria, her English is so good, and yours too. And I think she moved here at the same age, like when she was 12. Yeah. And her English is amazing, and so is yours. But then our parents are still over here struggling. But they were older. I mean, my parents I think were like 25 when they moved here, but they still have accents.
I know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's like insane how your brain works. So I need to learn Greek though. Like
yes, you do.
I really.
She's doing really good though. Like every time we go to Greece, I feel like you understand more and more.
I understand like a ton.
Yeah,
I feel like.
It's like anything we say, she catches on. Even if she's not understanding every single word, she's understanding the concept of what's being said.
It's so true, because I know a lot of words, but like I cannot form sentences. And I feel weird speaking it because I feel like I sound crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know a girl who is also Greek, but she didn't grow up speaking Greek at all. And her husband is Greek now, but she still doesn't, like, she speaks it, but like very broken, and she still doesn't fully know Greek. Crazy. Yeah.
Wow.
Even though she's Greek, like her parents are Greek, but they didn't speak Greek to her.
It's my husband's mom, like, who made the biggest difference, like, because she'll literally repeat the same word to me until I get it.
Yeah.
She just stands there, she doesn't know how else to say it, and she just keeps saying it over and over and over again. And then I'm like, oh, like, it's this, and then like she'll be like, oh, like, parsley, I forget. There's a word for parsley that I learned when she was here, and she kept like saying it, and I'm like, parsley, and then I tell her like, parsley, like say parsley,
and then she says it in Greek.
I know, and then she's like, parsley, and it's like so funny, but like she's the reason why I learned so much. Like my husband doesn't speak Greek to me, and he just like forgets. It's just easier to speak English, but I don't know, I really, really do want to learn, because I don't know, it's not a bad thing to like know another language. And
it's harder though when you're older. It's for sure.
Oh yeah. But I think I'll get better and better.
You will.
And especially with my daughter like growing up, like
hopefully she speaks Greek.
Yeah, I think she will. And then like watching all the baby shows, like I think it will be like helpful for me, because I already
You're gonna learn Greek together.
I know. And like the lady on the TV will go, Yasu, Yasu. And
who is this, like the Miss Rachel, the
Miss
Greek
Rachel
Greek Miss Rachel?
Yeah, there's like 20 of them.
Literally. There's like everyone wants to be Miss Rachel.
So many different ones. Those people make bank though.
Yeah,
if you think about it, like all of the
maybe we should be Miss Rachel.
I know.
You do a Russian one, I'll do Greek.
Literally. Like all the kids like rewatching that stuff.
Yeah,
like
true.
Again,
how many views they have
again and again. Yeah. But I would say it took me like a year to speak English.
Wow.
Like I could speak it, but like not like well. But within a year, like I think I like understood. Really I would go to the library a lot, the library where we got married actually. I would go there all the time, and I would like check out so many books, and then I would like go home and like read them, and I wouldn't understand what I'm reading. I would just like read the words. I would sit in my room and I would like read it out loud. I wanted to fit in so bad. And I would like listen to shows and like watch like Hannah Montana and like try to like listen to her songs and like write in Russian like what she's singing and like pronounce the words. But I had cousins here that were like growing up here, so like they would help me a lot. And I think I told you about this. It was funny because I kept saying the word strawberry
instead of strawberry.
And then my little 5-year-old cousin goes, Nina, it's strawberry, not strawberry.
Hello.
I was like, oh, really?
Sorry.
And then I had like a boyfriend at the time when I was like 14, and he was like, we were out and, you know, walking around, whatever. And I was like, oh, can you like buy me like sneakers? He was like, what? Like, I don't have that much money. Like, what do you mean? And I was like, huh? I was like, you don't have $2? And I was like, the chocolate. And he was like, oh like Snickers. And I'm like, what is the difference? Snickers, sneaker, same thing. And he was like laughing at me.
A 14-year-old boy, you're like, can you just buy me some sneakers?
Sneakers, yeah, poor guy. But yeah, that's like funny. One thing I remember is like my journey of like learning English. So I would say things like that. I feel like I'm still learning. I feel like even Americans are learning. Yeah. There's like so many words.
I know there's some words that people say and I'm like, what is that? And then like, how do you not know what that is? Well, English is not my first language. So sorry.
For me, I don't know if it's for you, if it's the same thing, but I find like references are hard to relate to when people are like, oh, like, you know that show when we were growing up? Or it's like, oh,
no, because I basically grew up in America. Yeah, I watched all the shows. So that, yes, but there's just some big words that people use sometimes, and I've just never heard of the words. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but if I think of one, I'll like blurt it out randomly at some point. But there's just some words that I've never heard before. So I mean, I went to school. They're not teaching you every single word in the world. So yeah, but there's just some big words that I'm just like, I don't know what that is.
For me, it's like references. When someone's like, oh, you know that actor or that song or that show, and I'm like, what? No.
What is that?
And then people look at me like I'm crazy. Like, I don't even, like, you know, like, okay, they can be like literally be the most popular actor or the most popular song, and I don't know it, but that's because literally I didn't grow up here. But my parents, like, going back to like the boys and everything, they also didn't have me have like sleepovers or anything like that until like high school. I had like a really close friend, and she was like a really nice girl. They let me sleep over her house sometimes.
I never slept over a friend's house, really. I think it might have been like once or twice, like one or two people that they let me. In high school, yeah, but I think before that, my parents had to meet their parents. Like, they would not let me just go sleep over somebody's house. Yeah. So for the most part, I wasn't sleeping over people's houses, but I was sleeping over like my cousin's house because I have a lot of cousins here. Yeah. From my dad's side, so I would sleep over their houses, but I would never sleep over.
My mom would always be like, "You have your own bed. Why do you need to go sleep at someone else's?" She's like, that's her favorite thing to say. You have your own bed.
Yeah, my mom would say that too. And I was telling you the other day that I have one aunt that I was obsessed with because every time I would go to her house, she would let us do whatever we wanted, basically. Like, it was fun there. So there would be times where my mom had to drag me out the door of my aunt's house. Aww. Yeah, that's the only house. And my mom would be so upset because she's like, do you hate me? Why don't you want to sleep at your own house? That's like the most sleepovers I would do. I wouldn't really sleep over a friend's house.
That's really funny.
Because, I mean, think about it. You have a daughter. Like, how would you feel if she wanted to go sleep at her friend's house?
Okay, no, I'd be like,
a cousin's house, yes, but a friend's house, or if it's like your friend's kids, then yes, because it's your friend, you know her already. But if it's a random friend that you've never met the parents or anything, I would be like, no, like, bring your friends here.
Yeah, I think like one thing I'll have different with my daughter is that, like, yes, I don't want her to have sleepovers, but my parents also didn't really let people sleep over my house.
Oh, okay.
But I think I will try my best to be like more open and be like the house where her friends want to hang out.
Yeah, and it's fun.
Yeah. Because I feel like she's safer that way. You know,
crying thinking of her doing those things.
Like, imagine her talking
and her being like, I had my first boyfriend.
Oh my god.
No, you don't.
I know.
No, you don't.
Literally. But like, yeah, I would want her to be like, because I feel like she's like safer at home. Yeah, so I would want her to be like,
you can watch what she's doing. Right. You know where she is. Yeah. She's not like sneaking out. Yeah. I mean, she might try, but
I would sleep over my friend's house, and then like we would sneak out in the
Me too. I would tell my mom I'm sleeping at my friend's house, but we would be out in the middle of the night. And my curfew.
Why don't we sneak out right now in our 20s? What the heck?
Because it's not sneaking out anymore.
You want to sneak out tonight?
It's not sneaking out anymore. And who are you sneaking out from? Your husband? Yes. Please. But I had a curfew. Did you have a curfew? Yes. Okay, my curfew was like 10.
Same.
And so if I wanted to stay out late, in high school, I would sleep at my friend's house because I had a curfew up until senior year of high school.
Me too.
And then I went to college, and you can't, not having a curfew, even though my mom would try.
They did try too.
Yeah, so my mom, so I went to school in the city, and so like 40 minutes from where we live, and my mom would show up to my dorm without even telling me. And the night before, I had gone out, I was hungover, and she would come, and I would be in a bad mood because, first of all, she woke me up early in the morning. Okay, thanks for coming to visit me, but can't you tell me ahead of time, you know? There was one time when like me and my roommate had a sleepover with two guys, and okay, one was in my bed, one was in her bed, and my mom calls me and she's like, I'm outside. I'm like, oh, I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go have lunch. And so I just left and like let my roommate deal with like, yeah, like, why are you just showing up? And my mom is like, to this day, she's like, I would just wanted to come see you and I would bring you food and you were just yelling at me because I came. I'm like, yeah, you came without telling me. And so now she tries to do that with my brother, and I'm like, can you not do that?
Yeah.
Like, he's just enjoying his college life. Please just like leave him alone.
I could totally see her like doing that. That's like your mom to like the T.
She just wants, like, she wants us to be obsessed with her, which, like, okay, we love our mom, but okay, anyways, let me not shut out my mom and then she hears this. Sorry, Mom, but I love you.
No, I hate when mom does like anything unannounced. Like,
yeah, like, just tell me, please, just let me know.
I know.
So yeah, going to college, my first year was when I had the most freedom, and I was obsessed. Like, no, I didn't have to tell anyone where I was, which could be a little bit scary because the world is scary. But you know, I was out until 5 o'clock in the morning and whatever, and it was so much fun. Yeah. But yeah, I always had a curfew, and if I wanted to stay out late, I had to lie and say, I'm sleeping at my friend's house. We're just gonna watch movies.
Yeah, that's literally what I did too. Did you ever? Because like I didn't stay in college like in the dorms. Like I drove to college because I lived like 20 minutes from my college, or you know, I was still at home, but at that point I was like older, so my parents were like more understanding. Yeah. But I still could never have like a boyfriend sleepover or anything like that. So like if anything, I would like sleep at their house. I don't know. That's just like a thing that's just like not accepted in our culture. Yeah. It's just not. And
it's not a said thing. Like my parents have never come to me and been like, boys can't sleep. I've never asked because I was always scared to ask. And it was just like you know that you're not supposed to.
It's just not gonna happen.
Boyfriends. Yeah. Like you're not, I mean, you can have a boyfriend, but he's not sleeping here. Yeah. Yeah. Like that's wrong. I even like till this day feel embarrassed to like kiss in front of my parents, like my boyfriend.
Oh, me too.
It's so embarrassing to me. Like I just can't do that. And like my ex would like be okay with doing it in front of his parents. And I'm just like, this is really awkward. Like I can't do it in front of any parents because I don't do it in front of my own parents.
Yeah. My husband's like that too.
Yeah.
And
it's just like a respect thing.
And I'm like that too. Yeah. Like I would never like kiss my husband in
my
front
mom
of my
may be okay, still awkward, but my dad specifically, I would never do that in front of.
Yeah, me too. I feel
it's just like
I feel the same way. Yeah. It's definitely like a foreign thing.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. My husband won't even like hug me in front of people. He just like is so like. Remember, like I was like saying like I love you before I was leaving. He's like something like under his breath. Like
not even love you.
Like, I said I love you, and he's like
even at my house. So when you called him, I think when you were doing your aunt's nails, and you were on speaker, and you were like, okay, like I'll be there soon, love you, and he's okay, bye. Yeah. Like I'm like, okay, you don't have to be embarrassed in front of me and my mom. Like it's fine.
He's like that. But again, it's a foreign thing.
It is like, a foreign. My ex like did not care. He would like touch my leg, like in front of my parents, and I would just be like,
oh my God.
Like my dad right there. I'm just like, I mean, I love it because like I love affection.
Okay,
and, like,
but like in front of your father.
Yeah, I know, but like sometimes I would just like I would be so stiff. I would be like, because I also don't want to like make him feel bad and be like, don't touch me.
Yeah, but you should know.
I know, but he's so comfortable. He was so comfortable in front of his own parents, so to him it's just like, okay, we're adults. Like who cares, you know? Yeah, like don't touch me.
I don't know. It's like so weird, like having a daughter now and like thinking of that. I'm just like,
well, just enjoy that she's young still, because when that point does come.
I know.
Can you just imagine her? Like, what do you think? Do you think you're gonna follow what your parents did for you? Like, oh, you can't have a boyfriend. Not that, again, I don't think my parents at least never actually straight up said you can't have a boyfriend. I just kind of assumed that was the case.
The first time I had like an official boyfriend, I was like 13 or 14, and it was like in the US. And I literally, like when it became like official, I literally like told my mom, I'm like, Mama, I have a boyfriend. And it was like a cool word too to say, like in Russian.
Oh my God, I have a boyfriend.
Yeah. And my mom was like laughing. She's like, oh, okay, like go tell your dad. So I like went in the room, and like my dad was like on the computer or something. I was like, Papa, I have a boyfriend. And he was just like laughing at me.
Yeah, because we're young and they think we're just stupid, probably.
Yeah. And then I brought him home one day and my mom like cooked us lunch.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. I was with him for like 3 years though after that, or like 4 or something.
Okay, so
crazy.
it was a serious boyfriend.
Yeah, because I met him at like 13, 14, whatever.
Yeah.
So that was like my first boyfriend. My parents were like laughing at first, and then they were just like, okay, cool, like you have a boyfriend now, I guess. I'm like, yeah, I guess I do. But I feel, I don't know, it's just weird to be parents and just to think back now and like we understand them in so many ways.
If your daughter comes to you at 13, what are you gonna do?
I'm just going to try. So my parents, not that my parents were that judgmental, but my mom, actually, that's a lie. My mom's very judgmental.
It's okay, mine too.
And opinionated, very opinionated. I think I'm going to do my best, but I'm opinionated too. So I'm going to do my best not to have such a strong opinion, or at least not out loud to her right away and react right away.
I think the more open, and I tell my mom this too, and I'm not a mom, but I just can imagine the things that my parents did that I don't want to do when I do become a mom.
Yeah.
And I think that I tell my mom, even with my brother, the more open you are and the more understanding you are, like if you're gonna go and yell at her or him about every single thing, they're gonna be scared to talk to you.
You need to listen first and react second.
And like I would want my kid, boy or girl, to not be scared to talk to me. Like I want to be the first person that they want to go to when something crazy happens, or when they get a boyfriend for the first time. I don't want to be lied to or make my kids feel like they're scared of me.
And I didn't feel that with my parents, with my mom specifically. I couldn't go to her because I was like so scared she's gonna like react.
I felt like that with both of my parents.
Yeah, my mom is a very reactive person. She reacts like right away.
Yeah, mine too.
And I wanna like, as much of like as a reactive personality I have, I still try to control it.
And sometimes it's hard to...
It's very hard,
You have to stop and actually think, okay, this is what she said to me, and this is how I'm gonna react.
Because they're gonna get closed off, and then it's gonna be really difficult to like get to your child. And I just want to avoid that.
And that's when worse things could happen.
Exactly.
So I mean, thank God nothing bad happened to us. I think we grew up pretty great. Like our parents are lucky, but yeah, it could get worse. And I even like... My brother is 10 years younger than me, but I try to think like that when I'm talking to him, when he tells me something crazy,
not be like, oh my God,
and not be like, what the hell is wrong with you? You're so stupid. I try to like be like, okay, like, you know, think about it like this or do that, and just be helpful rather than like yelling at them.
I know, it's true. I mean, although sometimes some yelling is like very helpful,
I agree.
But like there's like a fine line. And I think that's the number one thing I'll do different is just like listen first, and then like, and maybe not give like your opinion right away too, and then or like,
and also let them learn the lessons on their own. I think that's really important, because if you're gonna keep your... Look at me giving parenting advice. If you're gonna keep your kids from doing anything and tell them don't do this, don't do that, like half the things my parents told me not to do, trust me, I did.
I was about to say that I have 2 points to go off that, because I have a friend, or had a friend. She had extremely strict parents, more strict than mine, more strict than yours. Like she was not allowed to do literally anything. So when she went to college, she went off. Like she went crazy.
I mean,
and you know, and for me, for example, I didn't have as strict parents, so I never went through that phase of like extreme partying. Like I kind of like got it out of my system a little bit here and there because I had the ability to. I feel like when you hold, you know, kids to such like a high standard and you don't allow them to have any freedom, we forget that like they're their own people regardless of their age. You need to respect their boundaries too, and their wants and their needs. So if they want to do something, talk to them about that. I wish my parents did that with me more. But yeah, she went like off, and then she went through like a phase where she was partying like so much because she was held on such a tight leash. How you said like, let them learn from your mistakes. So you know what my dad did with my brother? My brother was literally 5 years old, I think, or like 4, maybe like 4 or 3, I don't know, somewhere around there. So we were in like the Russian village, and like we have like these like chimney things where like you put the wood and it like whatever, it's like a chimney, and then on the top it's like a cooktop, like a cook stove top type thing, and then you basically, the top is hot, so you cook on that. So my brother kept trying to like touch it, and like my grandma and like her like sister would be like, oh my God, like don't touch it. My dad would be like, don't touch it, like it's hot, don't touch it. And he would just keep doing it, like you know how kids are. And my dad was like, let him touch it.
Honestly, I believe in that.
Yeah.
Let them do it because they're gonna learn and be like, okay, I'm not going back.
Exactly.
Because it hurt.
Yeah.
Although sometimes that doesn't work. I feel like they just like depends on how young they are.
Depends how young they are. But he was definitely, it was not like one. Like my daughter wouldn't understand that.
Because I was gonna say your daughter, like when the cat scratches her, she goes back.
She's too young for that. You know, there's a certain age where they like know wrong from right, and like they understand like consequences. And they can remember
the pain of okay, that thing when I did that, it hurt.
This happened. So he let him. He said, okay, touch it. He would like go like this and be like, okay, touch it. And then he touched it. He burnt his hand, started crying, and from then on, he never touched the stove again. And I think that's speaks volumes with like anything, because you're just like, letting them learn a lesson on their own moving forward.
Yeah, because I agree, if you hold them on a tight leash, they're just, like I said, things that my parents told me, don't do this, don't do that, you're not allowed to do this, I did them. Yeah. And then now when I told my mom now that I did those things, she's like, I can't believe it, oh my God. I'm like, okay, well, you know, like when you restrict a kid from doing something, they want to do it 10 times more, I feel like. It's true.
And I don't understand like how they don't know that.
I know. But I think that, like, did they not do anything? I know for a fact they did things that they weren't supposed to do when they were younger. Yeah. Like, I know for a fact because my mom has told me a few things. And maybe not her specifically, but her sisters or something. Yeah. So, like, you know that from your own childhood experience. Yeah. I think it's interesting.
What was, like, your first car and how old were you when you got your license?
Got my license at 16. And my first car was a Nissan Altima.
They bought it for you?
Yeah, my parents bought it for me. I love you guys.
Must be nice.
But I only had it for like a year. I got it my senior year of high school, actually. So I was 16?
No, 17.
But I got my license at 16.
Okay, yeah, you can get your
license. Maybe I was 17 when I got my first car. But they got it for me my senior year of high school. But then I ended up going to school and staying there for a year. So we sold it. And then I came back a year later and got a different car. But yeah, Nissan Altima was my first car. It was white, black leather seats inside. I loved it.
Oh, cute. That's a nice car. Yeah. Like I love like Hondas and like Nissan.
Yeah.
My first car, I got my license at like 17 or 18. I forget. I was like I think it was like right after my 17th birthday or something along those lines. And then my brother got his license like a little bit before me. And my parents got us both a car to share. And it was a Mitsubishi Galant.
Is that an SUV?
No. Oh. It's like a sedan. It was like gray. Oh. And that thing, oh my God.
Has been places.
I think we got it for like 7,000 or 8,000 or 5. No, maybe 5,000. I don't know. It was really cheap, but we drove it to the ground. Like I drove it like insane. Like I drove it so much. And
when you first get your license and a car, you just want to drive everywhere because it's like, this is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And then my brother, he took over after I got my other car, and he literally drove that thing to the ground. Like literally everything was falling off the car. Everything was breaking off the car. The mirror was off. The radio wasn't working. The AC wasn't working. Like it was like, it had like almost 200,000 miles on it. Like it was like done, like junk. Like we literally drove it till its last like leg. And then he got a different car, and then now he has a different car. But whatever, that was like our first car. And like I remember it was so cute. My grandma like helped us pay for it too, and it was just like so funny. But yeah, we shared that for a bit there.
I want to go back to those days.
I know. And
so
like
good times.
Literally, and like now,
no responsibilities. I know. Just driving around, only paying for my gas.
Literally, it's crazy. Like when we were in the store a couple weeks ago with my husband, I told him at one point, I was like, isn't it crazy how we're adults now and we can literally have cake for dinner if you want?
Or for breakfast.
Or whatever. Yeah. Before you would like beg your parents to buy you sweets, and now you can just go and buy yourself a cake and eat it too. Yeah. And watch your cartoons. And watch your favorite shows.
Yeah, you can watch TV while you're eating, where before your parents would be like, turn off the TV.
I know, and you can eat on the couch unless your husband is my husband, then you can't eat on the couch.
I know.
It's cool to be an adult if you like think about it, but time flies. It's insane because you think about this stage in your life and constantly like rushing and like wanting the next thing, and the next thing, but now I just feel like
I need to slow down and just enjoy where I am, because one day we're gonna be not 30 but 40 and we're gonna be like, what the hell?
I know.
Yeah, so
Like, imagine we're 40.
I know. I can't.
Like.
And I was watching the thing you sent me, the podcast you sent me yesterday. And I was just looking at the lady, and she said she's 42. And I'm like,
I know. She looks so good.
She looks so good. And I'm just like, whoa, like, imagine when we get there at one point.
I know. Like, we all age. And you know, it's like, I don't know. It's just like, ugh. My grandma, so I brought my daughter to my grandma's house. So this is her great grandma then. And my grandma, like, loves my daughter. She, like, tells her, like, she's, like, so special. And she's, like, one of a kind. And she's, like, nobody has one like this.
True.
And she's, like, said something so sad. She was like, what are you going to be when you grow up? She was like, I'll never live to find out. And I wanted to cry.
Oh, that's so sad.
Because she's literally never going to know what my daughter is going to be when she's older.
And it, like, sometimes I think about our parents and, like, my grandma too, and think about where they are right now, where they're just, like, older. And, like, my grandma specifically, I feel like she just feels like there's no, like, I think she feels like she's lived her whole life and she's, like, done now. She's like, I'm not really living for anything else. Like, my grandfather passed away.
She had the grandkids.
Yeah, she's seen a couple grandkids. So I think she's kind of like, what am I still doing on earth? And that makes me so sad.
Yeah.
Because it's like, we're just over here every day, still young, like, haha, okay. But then there's our grandmas who just really are just like, okay, waiting for another day.
Everything hurts. Yeah.
Like, they're getting smaller, and it's just so sad to me.
I know.
It makes me really sad.
Too, yeah.
That's when you realize you need to just enjoy life.
I know.
Because there's worse things. So yeah, let's cry now. Right, well, enough of that. So
I know I was literally about to cry.
Be depressed.
Wait, yesterday when you sent me a video, we saw a really sad post about like a baby who like lost her life 5 days after she was
literal tear. I couldn't stop crying.
Bawling. I couldn't
stop crying.
Literally couldn't breathe.
Because okay, I watched it. So when we were together, I read it out loud, and like, okay, my eyes got a little bit teary-eyed. But then when I sat and looked at the comments, I couldn't stop.
It's really sad. It's about like a baby, like I said, who passed away, and it's just so heartbreaking. And like, and then my husband like took a shower and like came into bed, and he was like, "What's wrong? Like, are you okay?" And I just started venting. I lost it. I was going off on the medical system, on the corrupt like doctors, and how unfair it is, and how people like are just not educated on certain things, and then they just trust in doctors, and then like this happens. These poor innocent babies are dying.
I know.
Where things can be avoided, and I just went off. Like, I was so upset, and I couldn't breathe, and then my head was hurting, and then like
so sad.
I literally like had like, oh my god, it was just so heartbreaking.
I know.
And a part of me like wished I never saw that post.
Me too.
Because it like really affected me. Guys, I don't know. It's like, that's why literally they say like, be conscious of what you consume on the internet, because whether you like it or not, like it's going to affect you.
Oh, 100%.
And your mind and your thoughts are always like going, whether you see a cute picture, a motivating picture, like whatever it is. Like,
and I like really try hard now to not turn on my phone not go on my phone as soon as I wake up, because I do feel like it mentally drains me.
Oh, it does.
Like, I wake up in the morning and I'm like fine, but then I go on my phone right away, and then the rest of my day I feel like sluggish. I feel I don't know, if I see something, whatever, something that I'm going through, being single at 30 or whatever, I like get depressed. Yeah, so everything you consume on the internet is very much,
like crazy. But anyways, you guys, we literally like were doing so well, and then we started getting
into another topic.
Depressing, but we're going to end this episode here. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Thank you for watching.
We'll see you in our next one. Bye guys.